The guidance also includes procurement guidance. Is it true that the implementation of this area has been delayed?
Procurement, Mike, has been problematic for nonprofits because most of the procurement guidance in the uniform guidance came from OMB Circular A102, which was the administrative circular for governments. So since it was based on 102, there are a lot of changes for nonprofits who used to follow A110. Because of that, the federal government has actually provided 2 one-year implementation delays, which means we're coming up on a due date on implementation of procurement pretty soon, Mike. The procurement standards now require all entities that charge contracts to federal governments to have written procurement standards. And they also have to have conflict of interest policy with respect to any employee involved in the area of procurement. Now, procurement is really buying goods and services. So we're not dealing here with compensation for personal services. And it only is effective for direct charges to federal contracts. So it's not as all-pervasive as some people think, but it's still pretty important. That organizations have to document the history of any procurement. How it was determined who was soliciting fund from, how was it determined the contract price. Why reject this contractor, this bidder and not that bidder? The complete history of each procurement has to be maintained. So that's going to be, I won't say more burden, but it's more documentation that's required of the organization. And also the new procurement standards provide 5 different methods of procurement. I'm not going to go through them in detail, but I will tell you there are micro purchases, which are for under $3,000. There are small purchases, which bring us up to $150,000, and then there are a few others. But the point is, some of them require competitive bids. Micro purchases do not, and there's something called non-competitive proposals, which do not. But most of them require competitive bidding. Some require, well, there's one method that requires that they accept the lowest bid, and some do not. The point is, it has to be documented.